Hey everyone. Thank you so much for joining another episode of the Inheritance Podcast. Today is a very special day. I am joined by the one and only Bryn Valencia. She is the co-owner of Aquaterra here in Redding, California, and it is an amazing organization that I cannot wait to tell you all about. But I mostly want to get to know her and introduce you to her because she is a super special person. So we're going to jump right in. Bryn, thank you so much for joining me here in my living room of all places.
Thanks,
I'm
Cicily.
so excited for this, and it's crazy that I've completely turned my living room upside down, but this is super special because you're super special.
Thanks.
And I've wanted to interview you for the longest time. I have a few questions for you, but I mostly just want to get to know you a little bit. Have you talk about yourself, talk about what brought you to Redding, if you've been here forever, and tell me a little bit about Aquaterra, tell me a little bit about you, and we can go from there.
Well, first off, thanks for having me. This is
Of course.
exciting. It's a thrill. I'm honored. Everything that you do is beautiful, and you
thank
make
you.
things beautiful.
Oh,
So
thank
I am
you.
just really glad to be here. So thank you. I am from Redding. I moved here when I was 3, so I don't really have many memories before that, but I grew up here, met a cute boy here at the diner in town.
Oh, okay.
And we dated, we went to college together, and then we got married. And then Chris and I moved to Colorado.
I'm guessing that's the cute boy.
That's a cute boy. That's
Okay,
a cute boy.
yeah,
Yeah.
right.
So, same cute boy. And we got married, and he went to med school in Colorado. We kind of moved around for school. We were in Chicago and Philly. And then when I got pregnant with my first son, we moved back to Redding because this is home. And both of our families are here. We wanted to raise a family here. We have 3 boys, currently 5, almost 4, and 2. So I got to get used to saying the new cadence. But yeah, they're little. They keep us busy. And as if that wasn't enough, somewhere in there, I got my master's in theology because, just add another thing to the mix.
Why not?
And then we decided to start a business. So in addition to Chris's work at the hospital, we have started with my father-in-law and Chris and myself. We own Aquaterra Water Cremation, which sounds as wild as it is. This is usually the part of the party where it feels like the music,
are like,
everybody's
"Here."
tracking with like, oh, 3 boys. Oh, you moved around. Got
Yeah.
it. Yes. And then they're like, squeeze me.
The white picket fence has been painted a different color.
Exactly. Like what's wrong with the Valencias? Everything was going normal until it
they
didn't.
okay?
Yeah, are they okay? First off, we're not okay. We're not okay. Let the record show. So we opened a water cremation business with my father-in-law, and and so that's what we're doing. We're kind of putting our whole heart and soul into trying to reimagine what death care looks like, wanting to be a resource to our community, and
Wow.
There's a lot there.
Yeah, there's so much. Yeah. So the majority of my listeners are not from Redding, so this will be news to them.
Yeah.
Even just getting to know you as this new person. But
Yeah.
it's amazing how you've kind of started with the typical like American life, like, get married, settle down, have kids, go to college, see the world. And then all of a sudden this big wrench in the fan of like, oh, we're in the death industry, and this is this young, beautiful person with 3 very young boys is helping people walk through post-life and death and grief. Was that always your plan?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I have my master's in theology. My background was in organizational communication, and I worked in the corporate world for a while doing learning development. I've worn a few hats in my career lifetime, and it's actually been really cool to see how each chapter has kind of uniquely prepared me for this season that we're in.
Interesting.
But no, it was never my plan to own a funeral home. My father-in-law, Dave, Chris's dad, is very dear to us. And he came to Chris and I several years ago with this idea, and he had heard about this new technology, alkaline hydrolysis, that is a new way of cremating a body or decomposing bodies in a really eco-friendly and gentle way using water. He had heard about this technology, and he asked us if we wanted to start a business doing it with him. And I said, absolutely not.
Are you insane?
Are you insane? It was not on my bingo card to do any kind of death care with my father-in-law.
Let's start a funeral home.
Right.
Aren't you just jazzed about that?
Right. I will say even at that point in my life had taken enough weird twists and turns and unexpected things that I had probably done a lot of the work of letting go of the plan. I'll say that much, that I am a planner. I love having a really strong plan. I'm an Enneagram 1, which means that I love to plan and I like to make the plan perfect. But there'd been enough that had gone off the rails already in my life that I had become a little more comfortable with things going the unexpected direction. So we told my father-in-law no, but we would love to help Dave to do this. Around that time in 2021, my mom passed away. She had beat cancer twice, and then she passed during the pandemic from COVID.
Oh, wow.
And going through that process, man, just ripped me open. She was my best friend. I thought that we were in the clear. She was so strong, and she had beat cancer twice. And I just thought we were in the clear. Going through the process of losing her and grief and loss and going through all of the weirdness that comes with the funeral memorial process, alongside kind of having a foot in the door with helping my father-in-law get this thing started, something shifted in me and realizing I want to be a part of building something better, something that's more helpful, something that doesn't have to feel dark and creepy and weird. The death industry just feels a lot like death, and it feels like something you just want to keep behind a closed door.
Yeah.
And we want this whole conversation around death to feel more like life, to feel more like a tribute to the life that was lived, and not in a heavy, dark, and creepy way, or even just an overly somber way. We just see people craving, and I'll speak for myself. I craved a way to honor my mom and to honor her life in this specific season that felt a little more like her life. She was vibrant. She was funny. She was a little crazy, and it just felt like all the ways that we were taught that memorials needed to look like, it just didn't fit. So we've kind of given ourselves to building a thing that does it better, that does it in a way that feels a little more like life than death,
Wow. You had mentioned that your life had already taken a few detours before you guys made this decision to dive in with Dave and open Aquaterra. And then you had grown accustomed to life kind of just throwing you those curveballs and you weren't surprised by this. What were those original detours, if you don't mind me asking, that kind of set you up for being a little bit open-minded when this door for Aquaterra opened?
Yeah. I mean, even just the career changes for me were big. I got my degree to be a multiple subject educator. I was teaching elementary school in California. And then when my husband we planned on my husband going to med school in California, but then he got into a great school in Colorado. And so curveball, my teaching credential doesn't work in Colorado yet, and there's going to be a gap. So I ended up just taking another job there while I waited for my credential to come through. And when I took that job, I loved my new job. It was in learning and development. I was doing adult learning, rather than kids. And I was doing curriculum development and running the training center for, our national training center for our company. And it was a thrill and it was exciting, and I realized, that wasn't my plan. Right.
Right.
But I got to build new muscles and it in a way that I hadn't planned on. And it totally changed kind of the trajectory of my life in a lot of ways. And then down the road, when I realized, I think I'm coming to the end of this season.
Yeah.
And I kind of quit my job without a full plan yet. But then ended up going to seminary, had a little more muscle for that shift because I realized it doesn't have to be perfectly planned out, right? So the career path, I feel like I've jumped a few different directions and it works. Like just to learn, it's okay. You don't have to have, Bryn, you don't have to have it all planned out. Just kind of learn to ride the wave, and it'll work.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah. I love that.
Some people are better at that than I am. For me, that's like, it's like, you might as well have from my cold dead hands.
You've said previously, you're an Enneagram 1, you're a planner, you really just take pride in what you plan, but it sounds to me like your life has been anything but.
Yeah.
But listening to, the life that it's brought to you now and hearing the passion in what you do, you've overcome that default in your personality and you're able to embrace these curveballs and these detours with such a genuine smile and such a genuine, open-minded spirit that I feel like a lot of people don't they don't currently have that ability.
Well,
they might get a curveball thrown at them and they're like, I'm going to embrace it. But it's like, I'm going to do it, with my fist clenched.
Well, you're seeing the smile now. I mean, when I can vividly remember leaving home and driving to Colorado that first time, I was young, I was early 20s, right? And just weeping, hands clutching the steering wheel, driving behind the U-Haul and just weeping. I think I wept all the way through Nevada, you get to the smile, but there are a lot of tears on the way to the smiles, right? I remember having a conversation with my grandma. We called her my Mama Joe. I was sitting at her kitchen table. I was in high school and I was telling her about all of my plans for my life. And I really thought she was going to say, because I was telling her, I'm going to I'm going to go to this college and then I'm going to get married. And, I had
just
the
like
whole
the
plan.
next 20 years.
I was the 16-year-old with the 20-year plan, right?
And the Pinterest board.
And we didn't, I'm a little older than you, Cicely. We didn't have Pinterest boards and I was 16. But I would have.
We had the budget. We had it written out. We had the magazine cutouts.
We had scrapbooks. We had the cutouts. Yeah, we had our little scrapbooks. So, but I told her about my plan, expecting her to be like, oh, Bryn,
good
job, Bryn. You nailed it. Go get him, Tiger. That's what I really thought she was going to say. And she's solid gold. She just reached across the table. Remember, she held my hand and she said, honey, your expectations are going to make you miserable.
Oh.
And it's like a knife in my heart of like my little perfect planning heart.
Cut me off at the knees.
Yeah. And now I realize, I was probably a lot like her. She might have been a lot like 16-year-old Bryn that had the plans and had it all figured out exactly where life was going to go. And I don't know, I would love to hear more stories about her life, but I've heard a number of them. And she tells her, she actually ended up sewing a quilt that kind of told her life story in a really beautiful way. And almost every square you could probably describe as some kind of maybe not a disappointment, but a curveball, a change in the plans. I just marvel at how her story just kept on going, and how many of us kind of get, you get the first curveball and you just get stuck there.
Yeah.
And I've been stuck in spots for longer than I wish I had been. We keep on going, right? And so the laughter is the smiles are on the other side of like when you kind of get spin cycle. When you get stuck in a spin cycle and then you kind of like get tossed around by a wave.
Yeah.
And then
then you come out of it.
You come out on the shore.
Oh my gosh.
And then you can laugh.
Yeah. And it's like, coming out on the other side of it, it gives you the perspective that you didn't have when you're in the midst of like, I'm emotionally hanging on to like, this is what I wanted. These were my expectations. This was my vision, and it's not coming to plan, but you have no ability to see what could be when you're in the middle of trying to make what you wanted work.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful to listen to you talk about that because it echoes a lot of my personal story that many of my listeners here on the podcast have heard bits and pieces about. And I have had to do the same. I had a wedding photography business that for 6 years provided for my family, and it gave us the ability to move out here. It gave me the flexibility to fly across the country and see my parents. And, that ended up kind of not falling apart, but it changed in a way that it couldn't really sustain itself in the way that I had grown accustomed to. And I had to make a decision on if I was going to try and force this to work or if I was going to try and expand my horizons and dream, about something else. But because that was my original dream, I couldn't think of something else. I couldn't dream of something else. And the fear of the unknown, I think, is probably the thing that trips up a lot of us who are like this, is like, well, I made this plan and I married myself to this plan because I'm comfortable with this plan. And you get going on that journey and then it starts to not work out and fall apart. And it's the unknown of like, if this doesn't work out, then what's going to become of me? What's going to become of my life? What am I going to have to show for all of this effort? And I went through like a huge, embarrassing quarter life crisis. And oh man, that was probably one of the darkest times of my life because and this is probably something that you can talk about. I married my identity and my self-worth and my value to what I was doing and that dream and what I had produced with my life up until that point in the way that it was looking in that. And then when it stopped working out and I couldn't force it to work and I didn't know what I was going to do and I was starting to let that go. I mean, let's be honest, I was still white knuckling it. But when I was starting to think outside of the box, I was most afraid because I didn't know who I was if I wasn't that.
Yeah.
That can be really scary, but it's so right, because what has become of me because I let that go and because I allowed myself to dream and fail. And I failed a lot.
Yep.
And it was ugly. And really my husband is the only person who knows, the fullness of all of that failure. I have what I have now and I am who I am now. And the original plan that I had wasn't allowing me to meet people and lay down roots here and really get to know this city that we moved across the country for. But now that I let that go and I opened up my heart to something else, even though it was terrifying and I didn't know what was going to happen, I have so much more to show for it that can't be replaced by what I had. And all of this just completely overshadows that. And the process of getting there was really ugly and it was really tumultuous. And it's exactly what you said. It's that spin cycle, being knocked around. It felt like life was just kicking you and punching you while you're already down. But I mean, now that I'm here and I have the perspective to be like, oh, so this is what all that was for.
Yeah.
I wouldn't trade it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, I feel like a whole new person. Yeah. There's so much more that's been added to me because of all of that. That isn't just, about my identity and my self-worth and my value, but the things that are outside of me, like my friends and the people that I get to network with and my clients, like you guys that I get to hang out with on a day-to-day basis. Like I'll just leave a session and I'm like, these are people that I get to see every day.
Yeah.
But I never would have come here and experienced this had I not let go.
Right.
Of my well-made plans.
Yeah. Right. I know I've heard it said it's in the undoing is our becoming.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh my gosh. Wow. That's so good.
And we are trained. We really believe, or maybe we choose to believe that it's in our doing. It's all the things that we do and it's in our hustle, that's how we're going to become. But it's actually those moments of, and I'm just going to call it the death moments of our life, not to be the death girl over here, but it's the parts where you find the end of yourself and you find the end of your plan and you find the end of it, that actually there's a breaking open.
Yeah.
And that's where it's in that undoing moment that you become the next thing. We can't have new life until there's
life does come from death.
Something needs to die for new things to be born.
100%.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's so true. And really, I feel like it's cliche in the way that it's not comforting in the middle of when you're experiencing that death, in your life. But it is the only reality of like, we have to walk this out and we have to grieve it and we cry, we do whatever we need to do because there is something on the other side of this that we can't see, but when we get there, we'll realize what it all was for. Yeah. And you had mentioned, you've had all these detours in your life and you take it now with a smile on your face because you see what all it was for now. But you said, it wasn't on my bingo card to be a funeral director. It wasn't on my bingo card to open a water cremation facility with my father-in-law.
No.
Tell me a little bit how it got onto your bingo card.
Yeah.
What brought that about?
We were as involved as we needed to be to just help my Dave. We'll just call him Dave.
Dave.
It is his name.
Yeah, right.
So to help Dave kind of get things started, we helped him, buy the building. We were kind of getting things going. And then when we lost my mom, that something really shifted in me at that point. Every point that I was learning or just going through the grieving process of losing her, felt like I was able to channel that into something useful or helpful with Aquaterra. And so I cannot tell you how many times, probably every day at Aquaterra, I have a thought about her or remembering the pain or something. Just this weekend, we're planning a memorial service for a family that they're going to come in. And I am just, in some ways, I think in a healthy way, reliving losing my mom and just thinking through what I would have wanted that to look like for myself. For just example, when my mom was cremated and we received her remains in the mail, because apparently that's how it works if somebody's cremated and they're not local. I'll tell you, I mean, I know many people listening have experienced this, right? Because death, has affected most of us in some way or another. But
no one is immune to dying.
If you've received your loved one's remains in the mail, it's shocking.
Yeah.
It's mail, and it's this like
It's
plastic
a person
box inside of it. And it's like, and that's supposed to be my mom. Like, I'm telling you, that was weird at best and devastating, at worst. It was just awful. And, just even no shade on the company that, the way that it was done. I'm sure it was done with great dignity and care. That was really
jarring.
shocking. Jarring is a good word. Yeah. And so with Aquaterra, how can we do that differently?
Yeah.
So that pain for me, that jarring, devastating moment for me, I thought, how can we help heal that? How can I make it so that other people don't have to walk through it in quite that same way? Can I take away their pain? Absolutely not.
No.
Can I even really make it better?
No.
Probably not. But is there something that I can do that I'm particularly gifted in this world that I can do differently that I'm even hesitant to say help.
Yeah.
But it's my work to do in the world. So when we deliver remains, we, in any way possible, we hand deliver them. A lot of families prefer to come in to our facilities. We have them always in a beautiful urn. Even if the family hasn't picked out an extra special urn, we make sure that it's in a beautiful and dignifying urn.
Right.
We have it wrapped beautifully. Wow. It was my idea to have a picture of their loved one. And we have them beautifully framed in these brass kind of antique frames that hang on top in front of the urns. That's what the family sees. Because when you see remains, it can feel like the least human thing possible.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm trying to somehow marry in my mind the loss of this person that I love, that I was holding their hand just 2 weeks ago.
Right.
And now I have this box to take home.
Right.
So even just to have their picture on it, even them knowing that we knew what your loved one looked like. We knew their name. We played their music, their favorite music during the cremation process. We love finding out what playlists or what their favorite kind of music was. And we played that. And this is not a sales gimmicky thing. It's that's what I wanted. I wanted to know that my mom wasn't just a number, just a thing in the cremation process.
Yeah.
It would have given me so much peace to know that she was known as Erin, that she was known as a unique person, as all this specialness that she was in my life. Music does that, making things beautiful does that, or at least that's what I'm able to bring into the story.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like it's the work that's put in me that I can do. And again, does it help? I don't know.
You hope.
But maybe not. Maybe, but it feels like it's my work to do.
Yeah. You're so good and passionate about being able to almost anticipate what other people will need in this space. Mm-hmm. And I'm curious, and it might be, multiple answers on this, so feel free to ramble on about it. But how did you discover this about yourself that, you say that this is I like to call it my glorious purpose because I'm a nerd and low-key, it just makes sense in my brain.
Your
But
glorious purpose.
My glorious purpose. I've been burdened with my glorious purpose. Yeah. How did you discover that about yourself? Like, this is my work to do. I'm going to nurture this moment and I'm going to anticipate their needs. And like, you do it so thoroughly in a way that it's like almost, in your DNA. How did you discover that about yourself in a way that you almost like you hold that line? Like, I will not compromise on serving at this level of excellence. Because obviously it's woven into Aquaterra's DNA, but it's a reflection of you. So what part of your life, like, was it this breaking open moment with your mom that kind of like brought that out? Or was it something else? Like, how did you figure that out about yourself?
Yeah. A mentor told me to pay attention to the thing that you can't not do.
Wow.
Well, even if you're not making a dime on it, it's just the thing that's in you to do. And then follow that. I was really blessed to be able to quit my job and go to seminary. Even if that hadn't been the case, I would have continued to take seriously the pursuit of theological education, because I was noticing it's this thing that's in me that I can't not do. With Aquaterra, obviously there's some theology background that comes into it, but I think the things that we're talking about here, I can't not try to make things beautiful, right? We have essentially built 3-4 houses in our time. We just love kind of getting our hands on a fixer-upper and then fixing it up. And that's a thrill. And it's the thing I can't seem to not do. And as soon as the project's done, my brain's already going to the next thing.
What's the next thing? Mm-hmm.
So to start paying attention to what are the things that you can't not do. Maybe I'm saying that too simply. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it makes so much sense.
But pay attention to those things, right? And that's the thing that is your innate, what do you call it? Your glorious gifting?
My glorious purpose.
Your glorious purpose. Well, so purpose gets to, so you have some gifting, you have something that you can't not do. And then you start to pay attention to what's the world's greatest need, right?
Yeah.
Where oftentimes it comes from your pain. Oftentimes it comes from your trauma. Sometimes it just comes from your interests. Usually there's a whole web of things that creates the thing that you can't not do.
Yeah.
And then if you start paying attention to what is a great need in the world, and if you can marry your gifting and the world's need, now we've got glorious purpose, right? That is purposeful work. Does that mean you must get paid for it? Absolutely not. Sometimes you will. I mean, who knows? Good on you if you can figure that out. But paying attention to the thing that you can't not do.
Yeah.
A lot of people can name that. Not everybody can, but that's work to do. Yeah. And then starting to get your eyes off yourself and pay attention. Now, what is the pain in the world? What is our pain that can be met with this? Then you're into some pretty cool ground. So with Aquaterra, man, I was able to find some pain in the world of people that were grieving, that felt like the traditional way of doing things, what didn't fit.
Yeah.
And I'm bringing my particular gifting and interest of making things beautiful, making things feel like home. I say over and over again, I want people to walk into Aquaterra and I want their shoulders to drop. I want them to not feel like this is a creepy and dark place. I want them to feel at home. That's consistent with how I feel, how I've approached every single one of the homes that we have updated, right? That's just me, right? That's who I am. So trying to figure out how that can marry the world's greatest need, not greatest need, that's a hierarchy, but like that it would just become helpful to the world. That feels deeply satisfying.
Wow. That's so beautiful. Everything that you have talked about with your personal experience or what you say about like other funeral homes, like I've experienced loss in my life. I feel like most people have been alive like long enough, more than 5 years, they've experienced loss like in some way. And every time I have, which, not that I want to experience it sooner rather than later with you guys, but, I hope that going forward that this will change and you guys can be the spearhead of that movement. But all of my experiences with funeral homes and just the loss of a loved one has always been surrounded by this, like you walk into the funeral home and you're uneasy and nothing feels right because it feels like either you're being blasted into the past or you just know you're walking into that environment and it feels like a funeral home. And it's just the shock of the grief is kind of brought back to the forefront of your mind. Yeah. And the most recent time that I lost somebody, it was a very tragic and sudden thing. And just trying to accept the fact that I was in a funeral home and I had to say goodbye was hard enough. But then to be surrounded by like things that just felt like everything but who he was. Yeah. And he was like the light of my family. He was a brother, pretty much a brother to my family. And he was just such an energetic person and just so full of life. And he was the jokester of my family. And then it's just everything surrounding me felt like he was not there. And I think it brought me a level of like, almost, I don't want to say like discomfort because I feel like that word doesn't quite land, but I was trying to find closure with this shocking moment in my life and I couldn't find it because it just was like, even though I'm looking at him and he's obviously not there, just everything in the room just didn't feel at home. And what I have experienced just walking into Aquaterra in the multitude of times that I have, even all the way to the back, like from the front of the house all the way to the back, it has brought so much comfort to me. And I'm I'm somebody who can be quite morbid. I have a dark sense of humor. Like
We love it.
I can embrace the full thing. So I'm not necessarily scared of it, but what you have done is pretty remarkable in the sense that it's almost inviting. I did this exercise years ago and I envisioned what it would look like for me to basically walk into the afterlife, essentially.
Okay.
And I walked up into, like, I walked up to a house. It was this beautiful, like, warm house. And it honestly, like, it looked like my great grandmother's house. That was the one thing that I just, for whatever reason, it came to mind when I was doing this exercise. And I walked in and it was decorated for Christmas. There's a fire going and a Christmas tree. And before I did the exercise, I didn't know what I was envisioning, but I walked into this house and it was like unlocked. It was like, just come right in. You know, this is home. And when I walked in, my shoulders dropped and I just was like, oh, Granny's house. Like, of course I want to be here. And I saw the stockings hanging from the mantle and just everything about it was comforting. And I went to her couch and I took a nap. And at the end of the exercise, they told me, you know, like, oh, you know, that is how you picture death. And to realize that, like, I have an expectation for what death should feel like. It should be, even though it's all inevitable, it should be something that I'm not afraid of. And it should be something that is another aspect of, like, this life that I get to live. I just want to say, like, you've done a remarkable job of being able to kind of pull me into that with Aquaterra. You hit the nail on the head when you say, like, yeah, I want people's shoulders to drop and I don't want them to be worried about all of that stuff. Like, how did you know? Because it almost feels, this is going to be maybe not weird for you to hear, but maybe for some other people to hear, for me to say, like, it almost feels supernatural that you knew that that's what people needed in the way that you were able to cultivate it in that way. If it wasn't supernatural,
Yeah.
which it might have been led by the Holy Spirit in some way, how did you know? Like, was this based off of your experience with your mom? And if so, like, tell me about that. And then how did you adjust? And
No, I lost my mom's parents. I lost them. It felt like very quickly. I couldn't even tell you the dates, but kind of like within 10 years.
Oh, wow.
And we're very close family. And so I lost my papa, my mama Jo, the one I told you the story about.
Oh, yeah.
She passed just a couple years before my mom, and then lost my mom. So, and at a fairly young age, I had given several eulogies, and
Wow.
as a, you know, from the grandchild's perspective and daughter's perspective, became more acquainted than I wanted to with funeral homes. And I know people that have experienced far more loss than that in their life, but it was significant for me, and it almost felt rapid fire in some ways. You know, I remember being in funeral homes and being worried sitting, this is very specific, but being worried sitting in the lobby and seeing doors down the hallway.
Yes.
And being nervous that a door was going to open, that I was going to see something that I didn't want to see.
Yeah.
Feeling very anxious about that.
The amount of times I've walked in funeral homes with my eyes down on the floor.
Just worried. So with that, when we were building our facility and we got our first set of blueprints, and I could see the way that the hallway was set up and the door that went into the back, you know, we called our warehouse, and saying, no, that needs to, we're not putting a window on that door, and we're going to turn that door the other way so that it's not visible from the lobby. Small change. Yeah. But that was formed directly by my experience. So the things that felt like discomfort or pain or anxiety, I tried to lean into, and I tried to pay attention, and I think I could have just shoved that down. But I tried to lean into those memories in a way that we can just do it differently.
Yeah.
I say do it better, and that even maybe too harsh. I do want to name that traditional funeral homes were not what I craved. But they may, and I believe they do provide a real sense of stability for some people in a chaotic time.
Right.
The idea that things feel unchanged and untouched by time may have a stabilizing force for some people. So I'm not here to throw shade at the way things have always been done. But I do know what wasn't helpful for me. And I think our world is changing. And with Aquaterra, we want to be able to offer a choice, an alternative, something different if that doesn't feel like a stabilizing force for you, if it doesn't feel organic or authentic to how your family wants to honor their loved one. I just feel like for some, it is exactly what they need and exactly what they crave. But if it's not, we can do it differently, so that's a big thing for us.
I love that. There's something so admirable about you in this way, and it needs to be said, about how you, and I feel like a lot of people struggle with this, and we get there eventually, how we're able to take our pain and basically say, like, not only what can I learn from this, but how can I help others not have to experience this pain that I experienced, or this discomfort, or, talking about like how you lost your mom and it was very sudden. And then on top of that, we're going through the process of like trying to grieve her and then also lay her to rest, and it just being really jarring. You had a lot that was thrown at you, and then the ability that you have in hindsight to be able to say, like, not only can I learn something, but I can meet a need for other people. That is admirable. And I feel like there's a lot more about you, obviously, besides Aquaterra, which I love Aquaterra. And if you're ever in the Reading area, you should go and visit it. You should browse all their socials and their website. Yes.
We do tours.
It's amazing.
You can scratch that off your bingo card. Visit a cremation facility.
Come have charcuterie.
Yeah, we do. We have charcuterie.
No, it's great. Yeah. But there's so much about you and your team, and I think of you as like not the counselor, because I know that that's not the word that we want to use, but you're like the face of the company in the way that you provide this perspective for your clients. That probably comes from your degree in theology and just like how you are wired, to where you talk about grief in a way that is palatable for a lot of people that it's not. Like the idea of grief is not necessarily scary, but from what comes from grief, where grief comes from is the thing that is very difficult for people. But I mean, you just are so good at putting it into words in a way that it's like, now it's not threatening, and I can walk this out. And I'm sure that you have experience both walking it out yourself and then maybe walking friends through it, or walking your clients through it. So I wanted to ask some questions about grief, because you're so good at talking about it, and I'm sure it could bring some people who are watching and listening some comfort as well. The first one that I want to ask is, what misconceptions, if any, do you think that people have about grief?
I think it's really common to talk about grief as though it's linear.
Yeah,
we talk about these stages of grief. People talk about these stages as though you check them off the list, you work through them, like you work through it.
First it's shock, then it's denial, then it's anger, and
you got it. Yeah,
no, I'm experiencing that one, and I'm done. And I'm
done. And I mean, sure, yeah, like that framework can be like super helpful in giving language and naming things that you're experiencing inside. And man, any kind of framework can feel like a lifeline. So don't throw that away. But I think when we start to think or have the expectation that we can work through grief, or that we can in any way control it, that we can manage it, I mean, it doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. Versus just letting it ebb and flow, and it comes and goes, and it's, you'll think that maybe you have moved on, and then something will hit you out of the blue. I was just talking with my friend Tiffany, and she has been such a lifeline for me, because she lost her mom just several years before I lost mine. And just to have someone like her that I could check in with and be like, hey, is this normal? Is this, and she's like, oh, I forgot about that. Yep. Totally normal. I remember that. And she was able to validate my experiences over and over and over again. And then also able to say, and I'm not there anymore. And I'm not there anymore. Wow. I remember that, but I'm not doing that anymore. Or she'll be like, oh, I haven't had that in a while. And then she'll call me again and be like, oh, remember that thing? Yeah, I had it. It happened again. Yeah. So we talk about grief as, there's like these two kind of graphic metaphors that we use. I don't know how common they are, but you have the freight train of grief. And so it's the things, these events that you can see coming down the track, the freight train. These are the anniversaries. These are the special locations, the special memories for me. Like I was pregnant when my mom died, and like I knew that delivering my son without her there was just going to like, that is a freight train of grief. And we expect these moments to just level us.
Yeah.
And the weird thing is that happens, not all the time, but usually the freight train moments, you can weirdly like step off the tracks. Right? Like you see the thing coming so clearly that like, I don't know, maybe we just go numb. Maybe we disassociate on the day of, but like, you're sad. Like every anniversary that comes, every milestone that comes, you feel sad. It happens. Like, but just speaking for myself, like it's sometimes not as sad as I expect the freight train to be. Like I stepped off the tracks, but because there's the but here, what does happen is it's like, the other metaphor is like shattered glass. Like if you ever like drop a vase or more likely a glass of wine, you know, like you drop the wine glass and you sweep it up and there's like that initial destruction and that feels shattering and jarring. Right. Yeah. And that's like the trauma, the loss. Yep. And then you clean it up and then over the next few days, you're like constantly, oh, is that a, you know, and you see a lot of them over the next few days. And then with time, you see less and less, but then inevitably weeks, months later, you're like, what did I just step on? And you like pull a piece of glass out of your foot and you're like, oh my gosh, that must've been from that
one time.
That one time. How long has that piece of glass been sitting there? Right. I was talking with Tiffany. She said she remembers painting her daughter's nursery, and it was the first nursery that she had decorated that her mom wasn't going to be there for, and she remembers like being leveled out on her nursery floor in the you know, because that wasn't a freight train. That's the piece of glass. Wow. For me, it's the song, like just the random song that pops up that pulls a memory when I'm just driving down the road. And, you know, my sons are like, my little boys in the back, they're like, Mom, are you okay? And I'm like, Mama's just thinking about me right now. I just, you know, like poor guys are probably so scarred thinking their mom's like a basket case. But if there's one thing I do well is when the grief comes, I let it fly. When you step on the shards of glass,
it's going to hurt.
You know, you can bystep the freight trains, but like when the glass hits, you just let yourself feel what you need to feel.
It's so shocking.
If you need to, I have pulled the car over off the side of the road and just let it hit. And because I know it's a storm, I know it's a wave. I have a mentor that talks about this is a wave. This is a wave. It's like a mantra, and not even just in grief. It can be in like crazy day at the office or whatever, and you're like super overwhelmed. This is a wave. This is a wave. Knowing this will pass. This so true. Moment, give it 15 minutes.
Yeah.
We're going to, you'll feel different in 15 minutes.
I feel like a lot of people, they're stuck just feeling it. Yeah. But they're like, what is this? What am I even experiencing? And maybe it's because this is the industry that you're in. Maybe it's because you have so much experience with it personally that you are curious enough to learn and find the words for it. But it's very true that you have had all of this life experience and you've figured out, you know, I'm wired this way and these are the things I'm gifted at. And then there's this massive need and you've really kind of honed in on that for yourself. And you do such a great job at like, I don't know, I'm really hoping that this is very therapeutic for people who are listening and watching so that they can be like, wow, I'm not crazy. Yeah, like somebody's finally like giving words to the things I'm experiencing. Yeah. And to be able to say that there are moments in our grief process that feel like a freight train or that we're stepping on shards of glass, I feel like can almost be like a breath of fresh air for people to be like, so my reaction is warranted. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And find yourself, I mean, I don't know if you can find a Tiffany, but if you can connect with other people. I mean, I think one of the biggest challenges to grief is that we become so isolated in it. I don't know where we get that. I don't know if that's a cultural thing. Yeah. But so many people think that like you have to keep your grief quiet. Like, you don't want your grief to impose on anyone else. And we are almost trained that we need to become isolated in our grief. keep it quiet, keep it contained. If you start to shed a tear, step out, right? Like that's a very normal idea. I'm not saying fall apart at the office. It's not what I'm suggesting, but I am saying having a Tiffany in my life of somebody that can say, you're not crazy.
Yeah.
You're not crazy. Oh my gosh, what a lifeline.
Yeah.
For me of just, they say grief needs a witness.
I was just about to say,
We've talked about
that so much.
So just to have somebody see your pain, whether they can speak from experience and say that's that's normal, or I've been through that exact same thing, bonus points, that's great. But just to let yourself be seen, because we cannot move forward. I am borrowing a story, and I may be I cannot cite my sources here. I was young and I was watching Oprah. Okay. So this is where this story comes from, but it was meaningful enough that it stuck with me. Yeah. So, take this for what it's worth. And somebody needs to find the old Oprah episode.
We're not going to have like the MLA, please.
No. They were talking about grief on Oprah. 20-something-year-old Bryn is watching Oprah. And they were talking about this tribe, and their culture was that when there was a loss, the tradition of the tribe was that during the night, everybody from the tribe in the community would go out in front of their homes, and they would move something. Whether it be a pot that they would move, whether something they would remove, something they would add. But during the night, they would shift something on the outside of their home so that when the person who had experienced the loss would come out in the morning, they would see that things are different, and that their community understood that things had changed.
Wow.
20-year-old Bryn hearing that story got it. And that was before going through the things that I've gone through. And even still, I remember specifically when my grandpa died, and he was such a pillar in our family, and he was just iconic and wonderful and funny and handsome. And he was just generous, and he was just the best. He was just the best. And we were out in front of his home, and I saw somebody walking in the mailbox, a neighbor, walking in their mailbox, as they should.
Yeah.
As is normal.
Yep.
And I remember thinking, the audacity to just go on. Do you not know that my grandpa
the world
passed
has stopped
away?
Yeah.
Right. Same thing when my mom passed, and I ended up having to run to the grocery store for something, and all these people just in the grocery store buying milk,
living life
like it was a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Again, the audacity, like that was, I could not wrap my brain around the world going on, right? Should the world have stopped for me and my grief? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But there is something about the people around you, or that's something that we can do for each other.
Right. Yes.
Is saying,
yeah,
your world has changed.
Yes.
And so my world will change too. I want to do everything that I can to show you, to express in some outward way that the world is different. And we see that, and we hold that for you. And that's powerful. So that's a big thing we do in our friendships.
Yeah.
That's things we do in our families. That's where grief needs to happen in some kind of community.
Yeah.
Let it to be seen, because grief needs a witness in order to heal. As long as we feel like we're unseen or misunderstood, or nobody understands what we're going through, it's very, very difficult to move forward from that point. So that's something we can do. That's something we can do for each other.
Wow. That is so powerful, because sometimes, at least for me, and honestly, I feel like this can be a blanket statement, and I'm secure in this being a blanket statement. I don't need words. When something happens that is hurtful and shocking, and now I have to process that, honestly, silence is fine if I can just have your eyeballs and you can just sit there with me.
Hold space.
And or you don't even have to cry if I'm crying. Just like somebody being there, just to be like, I'm seeing that this is happening for you. Just like someone noticing.
Yeah. And can we say that some of the worst stuff in grief comes from when people feel like they need to fill the space with their words, compelled to say something. Yes. And it's like, please don't.
Please just,
Please don't. Please don't tell me that that God needed an angel.
Oh no.
Please don't say that. Please do not.
Oh my gosh. Or like the smaller, I don't want to, diminish somebody like dying. Even the grief with like a job loss or a divorce, God forbid, or other things, to where it's like not this massive, like someone's gone now, no longer breathing. And they feel, like you said, it is their life's purpose, their glorious purpose to like somehow
Glorious purpose.
I'm going to say that for the rest of my life. They just feel like, we have to see the silver lining in this moment.
Yeah.
But like, why? I have always struggled with, trying to understand why people feel the need to shift our perspective in the middle of like, I just need to feel this grief. I know it's ugly.
Yeah.
And I think honestly, it's probably what it is a lot of people they don't know what to do with the heaviness.
Yeah.
And in an effort of just trying to lighten the mood or just, tell you like, I promise, when life gives you lemons, it doesn't always work. It's like a joke that falls flat. And I don't personally understand that. But even in moments where, when my business fell apart and I was in the depths of despair, like full on Anne of Green Gables, just depths, the depths of despair. Like my red hair was dyed green and it was a mess. Like I legitimately thought my life was over and it wasn't. It was very dramatic of me, but I am a very theatrical person.
Yeah.
And so my poor husband, I feel like at times, he tries to lighten the mood, but he's learned me well enough since then that when I was going through this, he knew well enough to just be like, I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to be here for you. And even there were times where he found the words to not say the cliches and not, try to lighten the mood, but to encourage me in a way that actually motivated me to process the grief and just this identity crisis that I was having and feeling like this falling apart was a reflection of me and I'm the failure. I'm, the disappointment. And it never was true. But all of these other things that people struggle with that aren't so much, someone in my life died, but a part of me is dying. It's so beautiful to have somebody like you put words to this and tell people who might be watching and listening who are going through a variety of different things, just telling them like, you just need somebody who can just walk with you side by side. Just, they don't have to say anything. Like that would be my question to you. Like, what would you say to somebody if they are in any sort of grief process and they don't know what to do to get out of this? It's just like a cycle where it's just getting worse and they're falling deeper into depression and the stages, we're not getting through the stages, even though it's not linear. What would you say to them?
First and foremost, we're not meant to do this alone, And so if you don't have community or people to hold your hand just in your life, and even if you do, I've done a lot of therapy. Maybe I can just say that.
Yeah.
I even kind of went to proactive therapy for a while because I was just looking at my life and I was saying, okay, I have a new baby. I have, and I lost my mom and I have, the job, like the new career that we're starting. There's a lot of change in my life and I probably just even need some help navigating that. Even if I wasn't waiting for it to get red flag.
Right.
I just knew I probably need someone to kind of hold my hand and to keep an eye on me right now. So whether that looks like a therapist, whether that looks like, any kind of counselor or guide, I don't know how to say it any bigger than, don't do it alone. Just don't do it alone. Yeah. And as you're saying, there's a huge difference between holding space for people and fixing.
Yes.
And oh my gosh, the wisdom to know the difference.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I would love to say that people that have been through loss know the difference, but that's not always the case, right? Sometimes if you've been through it, you think, oh, then I know exactly what to say to make it better. I know exactly what to do to make it better. When somebody every loss is unique. We talk about that a lot at Aquaterra. And so, and just in my life, like that's big. Every loss is unique. So pay attention to the person that is in front of you, what they are experiencing. It's not about you.
It's not a one size fits all.
It's not one size fits all.
Oh, this is what I did. Like, this is not a beanie.
Yeah.
This is not an oversized t-shirt.
Yeah.
It's not the sisterhood of traveling pants.
It's not. Nope. And even what that person was like yesterday or last week may not be what they're like tomorrow.
Oh my gosh.
Right? Or what they need. I mentioned a minute ago, grief can hit like a 15-minute wave and then it can be gone and you can, the weather has stilled a little bit. So even this could be in 15-minute increments, right? But paying attention to the people in front of you and to hold space for wherever they are in that 15-minute window, right? Yeah. We do not brush with broad brushstrokes on grief. This is all we're trying to pay attention to individuals and individual moments and what they need in that moment. And that takes showing up. That takes courage. That takes paying attention.
I was just about to say, it takes paying attention.
Yeah.
And I think there's something to be said about that because it requires a level of authenticity from you to where it's like, we always say, when it comes to grief, don't make it about you.
Yeah.
But like, it is an intentional self-sacrifice. Like if somebody's going through something and you want to be there for them just as much as you would expect them to do for you. And I always go back to my own personal experiences with grief and everything that I needed. And I genuinely needed somebody to show up for me. And I've really witnessed that with my husband, which is honestly just a tribute to him and being able to set himself aside in a way that he had never done before. I also should mirror that for someone else. Like, I'm not going to show up and just be like, well, this is what worked for me. Like, this other person has a completely different personality, a completely different background, a completely different way of carrying and expressing their emotions. And so being able to listen first and truly try to understand and sit in the discomfort.
Yes.
Like, it's fine if you don't have all the answers.
Yeah.
I didn't have all the answers for myself. My husband didn't have all the answers. I think it's totally fine for us to acknowledge our humanness and the fact that I don't have infinite wisdom. I don't have all the, I don't know. Yeah. But I honestly think that it can be pretty empowering for us to say, you know what? I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what tomorrow is going to look like. I don't know, who we're going to become after this season of the unknown, but I know that I will be right here next to you. Yeah. And I have said that. My husband has said that to me in times where that's really all I needed was I needed to know that regardless of all of the turmoil that was going to transpire, and I might walk out of this a completely different person, that I wasn't going to do it alone. This is so empowering. Yeah. Just to be like, okay, I can take a step and know someone's going to be right at my shoulder. Yeah. And I can't, even this is going to get ugly. Yeah. I can't scare them away. Yeah. It's just like, it's almost like you become a chain that can't be broken. Mm-hmm. And then the winds come, the waves come, the freight train comes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it can't shake you. Yeah. And it's like, I think I asked you this, one other time when I would interview you for stuff for Aquaterra. And I asked you if there was like really anything beautiful or precious about grief, and really and truly, like it's a mess. It's a hot mess express. Like nobody really likes to be on this train. If we could all get out of it, I'm sure we'd find a way. Like nobody likes to feel pain. This is the one thing that I would say that is actually not precious in grief, but it is a precious byproduct that I have discovered in the ugliest, hardest moments of my life, where I legitimately thought it would take me out. Yeah. It's like where the refining of who we are as people really kind of comes to the surface. And I realize, wow, we are beautiful beings, and how we can love each other in spite of this stuff. Yeah. And grief has really been the only thing that's kind of pressed that and brought it up. And I mean, it's ugly and it sucks. Yeah. But it's so beautiful.
No, grief has tremendous transforming power. Potential. Yeah. I'll say potential. Yeah. It's an invitation.
Right.
Grief holds, I would venture to say, one of the greatest, most significant invitations to transformation. Loss, forced surrender, we might call it, right? But forced, I would say very gently, because you can resist it. Yeah. I mean, you don't have to look far, probably just within our own family circles, to look at people who have experienced grief and have said, no, thank you. I stop here. I do not budge. Are stunted, stalled, halted, whatever word you want to put on it. But do not accept the invitation. It remains an invitation. Will I let this crack me open and transform me and become something entirely new and different? Will that be painful? Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Does it feel like dying? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Every step of the way. Is it terrifying? Is it the unknown? Does it feel like a giant leap and a splat? Right? Like, yes, all of it. Yes. You don't have to take it. You do not have to say yes to the invitation. But I do know enough people, and especially in the work that we do, I meet a lot of people that are going through deep grief, and it is breaking them open.
Yeah.
And some people become more callous. Some people become more tender. The invitation is there that you could become a different version of yourself. I am continually floored when I listen to old recordings of my voice from just a couple years ago. I mean, I'm older now, so I know that my voice changes just as you get older, but not long enough ago for it to be
dramatic.
And I listen to these old recordings of myself, like even when I'm on Time Hop or whatever, and I listen, and I was like, I was so light. I was so I sound like life was so easy, or I sound like, honestly, I feel like I sound like a baby, right? I sound like a happy baby.
Yeah.
And I hear myself now. There's been a lot of recordings that I've heard where I think, oh my gosh, I just sound heavy.
Oh, wow.
I sound like I'm carrying something. But recently I've heard some recordings of myself where I'm like, I think there's some lightness in there again.
Returning.
I really believe that there's a lightness at the beginning of life that's the lightness of naivety.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that's lovely and that's great. We celebrate that. Childhood is like, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
We don't judge that.
Yeah.
But then there's a heaviness when the thing breaks.
Yeah.
When the plans go off the rails, when the job doesn't work out like you think it would, when you lose the friend, when you get the phone call, when you get the diagnosis and the thing breaks and it comes to a screeching halt, and there's heaviness and there's darkness and your voice sounds different when you hear it in recordings. Yeah. But I really do believe, and I feel like I'm just on the beginning of it, but I've witnessed enough stories to really believe this, that there's a lightness on the other side of the heavy. And I thought for a long time that the goal was to get back to the first light, the first lightness, that my goal is just to get back to that childlike Bryn, that light and happy Bryn. If maybe I can just get through this grief, get through the heaviness so that I can get back to return. But there's no going back.
Nope.
And we don't actually want that. We don't want it. You can't go back to be naive, and we don't really want to.
No, you don't.
What we can do is we can stop and we can stay in the heavy, right? And our story can end there and we can spend the rest of our days there. But I really do believe if we keep pushing and we let it crack us all the way open, that underneath it, there is another kind of light.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah.
And there's another lightness that comes with like the realization I am sourced by something deeper than all of this.
Yeah.
There's something in it of like, look at what I've survived, and not in like a heavy badge of honor kind of way, because you hear that.
Right.
But it's something deeper and richer than that of like, you can take everything from me, but you can't take everything from me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like, it's the lightness of I've been entirely stripped and I've come out on the other side.
And I'm still here.
I'm here.
I'm still here.
By golly, it's beautiful still. There's gritty. This is the beauty. This is the lightness where there's dirt under your nails.
Yeah.
There's scars.
Yeah.
There's like, you got stuff and you got something to say. You can keep on going, and it's an invitation.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you keep on saying yes, and you keep on letting yourself be cracked open, and you keep on letting the surrender happen, and you keep on showing up to people around you and letting yourself be seen and known, and you keep on just taking one step after, there is a lightness on the other side.
And it's so true that you're saying, like, I think we originally want to just like race through the mess and then just return. What we get from this side is full of wisdom. And there's so much more value that we get to bring to the table, to where it's like, now I'm not just ignorant.
Yeah.
Like I've been around the block, once or twice, and I know something. And this is what I love about, what you do. You have so much experience and you have so much wisdom to where you want to go and make, when people experience the inevitable, you want it to be an experience to where they can not have to have so many jarring things, but they can be invited into this space where they can be refined in a way that is almost comforting. And refinement that's a harsh term.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to actually be refined because it comes with pressure, it comes with heat, it comes with a lot of things we don't like. But you've created an atmosphere where it's like, come in and experience refining in a way that's almost welcoming. It's good.
Yeah.
It's so good for you.
Yeah.
And it's like, we're not going to go in,
And it doesn't feel good.
No,
it does not feel good.
No.
Yeah.
The process of doing it is not good, but you found a way to just invite people into a refining space and a place where they can open their hearts up and want to open their hearts up to experiencing the wisdom that's on the other side of this mess in a way that it just softens our hearts. And it's like, okay, I can do this. And you and your team have become, almost like lighthouses for people that say like, we have been through this, we have overcome it, we've done it multiple times, we can help you. And you're a source of information, and you're a resource for people, and a comfort and a guide. And it's because you don't just take your own personal experience and say, look what I've learned. And look what has, what I've overcome, and I'm still standing, but you can too. And I want that for you.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I love about Aquaterra. It's so much more than a business. A lot of businesses they care about their bottom line. Like, you guys care about people in a way that it's very unique. And it honestly just points to who you guys are. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful thing.
The title I gave myself was a map maker because when the old map, the map that has been trusted, is no longer working, I want to help, right? I want to create a guide, a new to say that we're in uncharted territory here. Right. We're taking a different path.
Yep.
And I don't want to just like lead the charge and be like, follow me, I'm sure you'll figure it out. And I don't want to be the one at like macheting through jungle, but we have trusted good guides that are ahead of us. And I feel like my role and what I end up doing over and over again is making the map. Like, I try to communicate and educate and create deeper grooves in the trail, so that people can walk easier, right? Like, can follow the path easier.
Yeah.
Is it a new path? Is it scary? Yeah. But like, you can walk with a little more confidence. Like, that is kind of what I feel like I'm in with all the hats I wear. That's what I kind of keep doing, is saying, we're in new terrain. We're trying to like carve out a new course, but I want to do this in a way that can help your shoulders drop, can help make the journey a little more doable, and just more.
And you know what?
Less scary.
I feel like this also points to you in the fact that like, the further that you get down that journey where you have blazed that trail and more people walk it, the further in time that you get away from the original pioneering of that trail, it will become less and less attached to your name. But that doesn't matter.
That's okay. That's okay.
And I knew you would say that because I know you. And that is what is so beautiful that I can confidently say about you and about your team, is that it's not about you. It's not about me. It's not about the name that we can make for ourselves. This is truly what you want to do for other people, regardless of if you get named, on the plaque or anything. Like, if it
no,
doesn't matter.
I didn't go into death care for recognition. No, this is not, this is not the fast track. No. Cicily, I don't know if did I do it wrong? I think
I was trying to get famous.
Yeah, no.
No.
We did have that one TikTok go viral. That was
right.
The wrong kind of famous.
Yeah,
so.
no. Yeah.
Or the right kind. I don't know.
Right.
Unexpected.
Yes.
Unexpected.
Yes.
TikTok
I would definitely
fame.
say that was not.
That got wild.
Not expected at all. Well, this has been super insightful and super fun. I love talking with you about grief because I feel like you do a wonderful job at just like looking right into my soul. But I love asking you like the fun, tea, like we sip the tea together about stuff, just as like a little look into Bryn as we are bringing this to a close. Let's lighten it up a little bit. And I want to ask you some fun questions.
Oh my God. Okay. Cicily.
I know. I'm going to throw you some random ones. If you could design your own funeral or celebration of life, however you want to call it, what would you want it to look like?
Oh my gosh. Good food.
Okay.
It
So
would
we're a
have to-
foodie.
Like food is, I mean, my family, we're like finishing lunch and we're planning dinner and then we're talking like we like food. Not a potluck. We're not doing no shade on potlucks.
Yeah.
But that's not my vision.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would love to say it would be like, I just want everyone to have like a good time, but I do have a flair for drama. So if somebody could like super mourn, like I really want people to know, I want it to be clear that I was deeply missed. And if there could be a celebrity cameo,
Stop it.
I would not be opposed. If Celine Dion wants to show up and shed a tear,
My heart will go on.
she doesn't even have to sing.
Oh, really?
Is that generous enough of me?
I think so. It's pretty generous.
But if she could just, or maybe we need like a B-list celebrity, just like show up in the back and be like, oh my gosh, did you know? Did she know John Stamos? John Stamos probably isn't B-list. That's not fair. Like a bachelor. Oh, we need like a bachelor.
You are such a nerd.
Yeah, sorry. I'm just saying somebody from Bachelor, the Bachelor universe
Oh my
needs to
God.
be like somebody pay them, I don't know, probably $1,000 will do it, right? They'll show up for $1,000
Yeah. Yeah.
and cry at my funeral and be like, did you know?
I think she knew.
Yeah.
Were they close? B-list celebrity crying.
Yeah.
And the Bachelor cameo. Do you want them to eulogize you? I mean, this is your ideal.
Of course. I want it.
Okay.
Yeah. Of
Yeah.
course.
It's like one time, this one episode that was never aired.
Yeah, exactly.
Bryn,
Oh, do I want the Bachelor person to eulogize?
Yes.
No, they don't know how to speak. No,
Oh.
let them remain in mystery. I want people to wonder. Wondering will take them much further
Oh, got it.
than the facts.
Got it.
I think you're asking in general, do I want a eulogy? And I'm like, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I want to.
Who would you want to eulogize you if it could be like your theatrical version
My
of
theatrical version. Oh, what a good question.
Do you imagine if like Wednesday Addams did it or
Oh
something?
my gosh. Now that's the drama we're talking about. I do love that.
Yeah.
I do love that. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. No, that's
Placeholder.
Yeah.
Wednesday Addams.
Yeah, exactly. Anyone will do.
Oh my God. Oh my
it
God.
morbid.
That is so good.
I
No,
just want
yeah.
the drama.
No,
I
same.
would like plenty of people, so much love and respect for the celebration of life.
Oh
vibe.
yeah. No, I want
Mine
mine
needs to be,
No, yeah. 100%.
someone needs to be dragged out because they're weeping,
They're just losing their mind.
losing their minds.
Absolutely losing
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That just
I need a good breakdown.
I look at you and it doesn't scream funeral director.
Thank you.
I mean, maybe if this was more Morticia Adams,
Sure.
it might piece together in my little puzzle. But since you don't scream funeral director, what do your friends and family, if they think anything at all, like what do they think about this?
Oh, I think they were so concerned at first. I think everybody was so like, what are you
Hold
doing?
the
Are we
phone.
okay?
Are you crashing out? Are you
Yes.
having a midlife crisis?
Excuse me? Yeah.
Are we
But
going to cut our hair off too?
I have lots of friends. And then I think we didn't do a great job of explaining it to friends and family at first because it was just like,
It was
We weren't like-
sudden. Yeah.
well, yeah. And we just like, I mean, we were kind of learning. It has been a journey learning how to talk about water cremation and learning how to say things that are helpful and actually clarifying. And like, for example, in a TikTok video semi-recently, I made reference to the machine, the pressure of the machine, right?
Yes.
Because
Right.
it's a very sophisticated machine and that is a sealed
Trying to
chamber
simplify it.
Yes.
Right.
But I use the word pressure. You know this.
Yes,
The
I was there.
public
I was there.
thought that the pressure was the water, as though we were like
Pressure washing. Yeah.
jet blasting.
Oh, you mean to say that you're not like grilling Grandma Susie?
right. But there is no, just to be clear, there's no,
No.
the water is not the pressure. There's just a pressurized environment, right?
No, just
It's-
short
it's just
answer,
no.
simple answer. No.
But that is an example of that we have learned how to explain
Mm-hmm. Right.
water cremation, we've learned the hard way because we've learned how many things we've said and not realized people were really misunderstanding the process. So friends and family, even early on, we're thinking like, what are you guys doing? Because we probably did a terrible job of explaining it.
Oh my gosh.
To begin with. So, I think, but on the flip side, for friends and family that knew about me losing my mom and how the timing of that all just really fit together. Yeah. In some ways they were like, of course.
Makes sense.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course, that's what Bryn would do. We still run into people, that are like, oh, we've seen you on those commercials. Like, you're what is that? What is that you're doing? And, trying to really quickly gauge how much are they trying to understand? How much are they just trying to connect and just give them the 5-second spiel, or do they want to really understand,
Right.
So,
100%.
So we're proud to have a lovely website with all of the education that we can just say, by the way, just check out.
Just go to the website.
ChooseAquaterra.com.
Right.
Go check it out, and we can talk as long as you want. Shameless plug. But that's what we can do now.
Which you've been very thorough online.
Very thorough.
I think like our second TikTok ever got 1.6 million eyeballs on it. So yes,
Thanks,
you're
Cicily.
doing a great job getting out there and just being like, by the way, it's not as crazy as it sounds.
And can I just say, when we first started making magic out there for the TikToks, and Cicily would send me a draft. I don't know. What do we call it? Just like before it got posted. And she'd be like, and you would say like, hey, are you cool with this? What do you think?
Yeah.
You sent me this video. And I was like, oh, I remember what I said. I was like,
no one is going to watch.
No. Well, before I said that, I said cringe. And I said, say bones more often.
Yes,
Bryn.
right. Bones.
Because I said bones. I felt like I said bones 1,000 times.
But that's really like what you get from this process.
You end up saying bones a lot.
Right,
yes.
right.
But I said to you, it's fine. It's like our second video. Or was it our first?
It was our second.
Our second video. And I literally said, nobody's going to watch it. No one's going to see it. Who cares? Nobody's going to see it. And Cicily said, you're right. Nobody's going to see it.
No one is going to care.
And then it posted. And my whole weekend, it was like, what, 1.6 million
views.
I mean, full viral, like full. And that was a fun weekend, wasn't it?
That was great.
Responding to trolls and educating on misinformation.
Yep. It was all the things. But I will say that was the most fun that I've ever had talking about death as much as I did.
Yeah.
And you handled the majority of those comments, but I handled some of them. And I was like, man, I don't think I've talked about death this much and like cremation ever really. At that level.
Bones.
So much fun. You made it so much fun. And it was your approach to just being online and like talking with people who don't know you. Cause like friends and family aside who know you well enough, they'd be like, okay, this makes sense. Or like, she'll figure it out. Yeah. Strangers are a whole other thing. And strangers who can hide behind the anonymity of their phones. That's a whole other different side. And you just took it right on the chin. You handled it so well, just with so much poise and elegance. And I remember texting you and being like, I want to fight these people.
I know.
Like,
you were in my corner. You were like, you've got this. You're doing great.
Meanwhile,
you're doing
I'm
amazing, like, sweetie. You were like my what is it? My Kris Jenner.
Right.
You're doing amazing, sweetie.
Yeah. I was honestly more concerned that you were going to flip out at the amount of engagement that we had from that.
Well,
and
I did.
People trolling. And I just was like, these jerks.
Yeah.
These jerks. I was reading some of them out loud to Alex when it was happening in real time. And he was like, what are you guys going to do? I'm like, I don't know. Bryn's calm. So I guess I need to be calm.
Yeah.
Because normally I would be like flipping out. She's calm. So I will be calm. I will be calm. Bryn's calm.
If anyone is looking for like just good quality Trollville reading content, entertainment,
yes,
go check out the viral video. Well, I say viral. I don't know. I think it's viral.
Oh, it's super viral. Yeah.
It's on our
TikTok. It's pinned.
It's pinned. Yeah. And the comments are unhinged.
Oh, it's gold. It is pure. I want to print them out.
Yeah.
Honestly, maybe we should. We should do a magazine of just our comment section.
I don't hate that.
It'd be like our plaque.
It's our journey. It's our journey.
So we're putting Graham on a blender. No,
that was one of the comments. That was one of the comments. Yeah.
Yeah, these are questions, legitimate questions we had to go back and answer because people just like, they didn't listen. They like took the first little snippet that we took way out of context.
Yeah.
But you know, that's the internet for you. So
we survived it.
yeah, this is the death industry on social media. Yeah. This is what it is now. If anybody knows how to handle it, it's going to be you. You're going to do great.
Well, we learned. We're learning quickly.
I think just everything that you bring to the table with the grace that you have on your life to be able to counsel people and just walk them through grief with your personal experience, but just how you anticipate what people need in Aquaterra and just like everything that you do. You have created something that really is going to change the world, in my opinion. I think you guys are spearheading something. And with that, you're going to have a lot of firsts. You're going to have a lot of things that you guys are still tweaking and figuring out. But it is going to change the course of things for a lot of people to where like you're blazing a trail that a lot of people are going to walk down and not even realize like, oh, this was Bryn and Chris and Dave and this happened in Reading and all that stuff. And I'm excited for that day that we can get to the end of this and look back and see everything that you guys have done and overcome and all the lives you've impacted, because really that's the most beautiful and precious thing. So anyway, before we go, I wanted you to kind of just tell anyone who's watching and listening where they can find you and connect with you on social media and a little bit, you can do more shameless plugs for Aquaterra as well. Just in case anyone is interested in getting to know you a little bit better and maybe diving into what all Aquaterra is about.
Our website is chooseaquaterra.com. And we are on all the socials. Cicely makes sure that we're on all the socials. If you're curious at all, we kind of walk through the process of what water cremation is. Alkaline hydrolysis is the technology and just how it works. Chris is my husband. I mentioned he's a hospitalist, so he really brings that we'll say the nerdy flair.
I call him the Bill Nye of our facility.
We learned early to just let him talk about the science of stuff. And so he does a really great job explaining in a really helpful way. And I think he's great. So I like watching his videos. And then if you just want a little extra flair, just find the rare footage of Dave, the third owner of Aquaterra. He probably maybe has social media.
We don't know.
We don't know. But we pull him in to film some stuff.
Yeah, he makes rare appearances typically when he allows us.
We have more fun making videos with Dave than anyone else has watching them, but we have fun.
Yes, we laugh in the corners. Well, I laugh behind my camera. Yeah. He probably doesn't know that I'm laughing, but everyone else laughs in the corners of all of his segments. So they're great. Yeah. Yeah. They're super great. So chooseaquaterra.com.
Chooseaquaterra.com. We are located in Redding, California. We serve all of Northern California. So the Bay Area, Sacramento. We will travel. That's really important to us that we're able to serve all of Northern California.
Yes. We love our North State.
Yes, we do.
Well, thank you guys so much for being here, watching and listening. Make sure to share this episode with a friend who might be going through any element of grief or facing anything in their life where they need a little bit of encouragement. And if you're curious about anything in terms of water cremation or the death industry, Bryn is a great resource, and you can find out more information about her on the website. And I'll link all of her social media and all of those resources down in the description of this video and in the notes of this podcast. And so make sure to follow along and subscribe for more content like this. She is my first guest here on the Inheritance Podcast, but I will definitely have many more to come soon. So comment below any other topics that you would like me to cover on this podcast and any other guests or topics you'd like me to interview people about in future episodes. And I will see you in the next one.